Now, most stories begin with the words, once upon a time. But this particular story begins far before time even began. At the beginning of the world, when the Great Mother was forming creatures, she formed all of the beasts of the earth, and the birds of the sky, and the creatures in the deep blue sea. And this is when she made human beings. Now, at this time had not begun. So, when the Great Mother made different creatures, in the blink of an eye they would live their life and they would be gone. And then, if she was distracted from them and didn't look upon them, they could live for days and days and days before days even began. Now, this meant that there was no real rhythm to things. Some things would live really quickly in a flash, and other things could go on and on and on. So really, you didn't want the Great Mother to pay any attention to you whatsoever, because if she did, your life would be gone in a flash. Now, at this very beginning of time, she had made a few human beings, and these human beings were all unique. They were all different. They all had different skills and different personalities, as you could well imagine. And there was a man who lived in the forest. He was a woodcutter, and he was a maker of things. He created these great wooden and metal sculptures that would live out in the forests. And as the rain fell, they would begin to rust. But he made friends with them. The time that he spent with them was precious to him. But any time that the Great Mother turned her gaze upon these creatures that he had made, they would rust and disappear in an instant. And so it was that he kept losing his beautiful friends, the friends that he'd sculpted with his hands, that he'd imagined in his mind and then brought to being. Until one day, so sad was he at all of the friends that he had made and lost, that he made a decision. I am not moving 1 inch, he said. I am going to stand dead still in this forest, and that's where I will stay. I am not going to move. And so he stood. He stood in his sorrow, and he stood in his misery, and he refused to move. And the sun would shine, and the wind would blow, and the rain would fall, and the man remained bolt still in the middle of the forest. Until one day, he felt a movement within the earth. He felt a reaching within himself and a stretching out from his body. And the tip of his toes began to grow deep down into the soil below him. It wove its way through the roots of the great oak trees. It wove its way deeper, deeper down through the clay and through the chalk and through the brittle rocks deeper down within the earth. And his arms began to grow, and they grew down deep as well, until this man's whole body was swimming and moving and writhing under the soil of the earth. And it was in this moment, in his swimming and his moving and his lullaby of a dance, that he came bolt upright with Mother Nature. Her ferocious face came out at him, and she was angry. She had not made this man as a growing, rooted creature. She had made him as a human being. How dare he disregard the form in which she had made him? But this man had stood in sorrow and in misery for so long that the anger built up within him too. This Mother Nature, who had created all things, made them disappear within the blink of an eye. And so a great battle ensued. The man pushing forward and the great Mother Earth pushing back, until over and over they were moving the soil and the clay and the chalk around them, until the very plates of the earth began to move. And as Mother Nature and the woodman moved under the ground, the tectonic plates moved until, like a dancer, they began to move within space. And as they moved further, they began to rotate around the sun. And in this moment, time was born. And the woodman, in his new relationship with Mother Nature, became not a woodman any longer, but Old Father Time. And so Mother Nature and Old Father Time together created the rhythms of the earth, the Mother making and moulding all things, and Old Father Time adding a rhythm so that young babies would be born and they would grow in time into children, dancing and playing in the fields, growing into adults, having children of their own, until in the fullness of the seasons they would pass away. And so this is how not only time began, but our friend Old Father Time and Mother Nature became who they truly were. So I have a song called Old Father Time. Old Father Time, stretch out your arm. Old Father Time, slow down for a while. We've been so busy, there's so much to do. One hand on the day and one eye upon you. Old Father Time, stop running away with my dream come true. Old Father Time, look up from your toil. Old Father Time, so deep in the soil we can't imagine the things you have seen. Before we were born, so long you have been. Old Father Time, you carry along loads of dream. They say time moves quickly, waits for no man or tide, then drags itself slowly. When we're tired of the ride, Old Father Time, as young as the day, we call you our friend when things go our way. Old Father Time, stay on my side, hold yourself at bay. Old Father Time, please stay on my side.